Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Saurabh Dikshit. I am a practicing laparoscopic and a general and a robotic surgeon from New Delhi. So, this is a new initiative for the students where we are going to start a live case discussion. So, this patient is admitted at Highland Care Multi Speciality Hospital, and we have
Keshav Garg.
Dr. Keshav Garg from MAMC, who will be presenting the case to me. So now this is an approach where the students can come to my hospital. They can I'll arrange variety of cases for them, and then they will have a case presentation and we'll have a good discussion. So Keshav, to you, can you describe the case?
So the case is this is a 23-year-old male Shivanshu, resident of Delhi, and he presented on Monday with complaints of swelling since birth, which is of size of 5 into 2 centimeters since birth. So this swelling has been increasing constantly since he is growing from the childhood. There is no rapid increase in the size of the swelling. There are no aggravating or no relieving factors as such related to the swelling. Patient is having no discomfort other than having some cosmetic defects, and today he presented to get this swelling removed. So when we first had a look at the swelling, we thought of some differential diagnosis, which could be a dermoid cyst, it could be a normal sebaceous cyst, or it could be a lipoma. So for to narrowing the our differential diagnosis, we performed our clinical examination. On clinical examination, first thing is inspection. On inspection, we see where is the site, what is the shape, what is the size of the swelling, is there any visible pulsation or any other features, is there any erythema or skin discoloration. As you can see on this patient, the size is about 5 into 4 centimeters. There is no skin discoloration. There are no visible vessels on the surface of this cyst or the swelling, and there is no characteristic punctum which is seen in cases of sebaceous cyst. So we can rule out sebaceous cyst on the basis of whether the punctum is present or not. Then we go to the palpation scheme. On palpation, first we do the temperature, and then we look for tenderness. So now I am palpating the patient. Can I do this? First, we have to ask consent of the patient before doing anything. So I am going to ask patient if you are comfortable with me touching this swelling. Thank you. So now I am first checking for the temperature from the dorsal aspects of our hand with 2-finger technique. The temperature is not raised, so it is normal temperature. Now I am going to test the tenderness. In tenderness, main thing is you have to push the swelling, not ask the patient. You have to see the patient if he is wincing. And when I am seeing the patient is not wincing, so it is not tender. Then I will go to see the size of this swelling. As you can see, I am using the finger breadth technique. So if you can see, the length of the swelling is around 4 finger breadth, which is equal to 4 centimeter. 1 centimeter each finger breadth, so 4 centimeter. And width of the swelling is around 3 finger breadth, which is 3 centimeter. And now I am going to see the superficial depth because it is a 3D swelling. So it is around 2 finger breadth above the skull, which I can see because I cannot comment on the depth of this swelling. After seeing the shape, the size is around oval, shape is oval. Now I am going to test for fluctuations because I am not seeing any palpation, so there might be any underlying vessels which could give some pulsation. I am not palpating any pulsation. Now I am going to show you fluctuation, which is a main differential point for differentiating it from a normal cyst or a lipoma. So for fluctuation, I am using two-hand technique. From one hand, I am. This is my judging fingers.
The pressure
and
you're going to feel it from the side.
This is my pressure finger. I am seeing the content fluctuating as I am pressing this from this side. I can feel the pushing underlying structure on my hand. So fluctuation is positive.
So, doctor, what is your suggestion? What could it be?
It could be a lipoma. As we are seeing this fluctuation, I cannot rule out cyst under good conscience. I have to look for other signs and go for further evaluation like ultrasound. As it is in the skull, we can never be, we should always be cautious about encephalocele or meningoencephalocele. So we have to confirm it with CT or X-ray.
Great. So that was a very beautiful presentation by Dr. Keshav. And today I will explain you approach to these swellings. Already the basic things have been described by my intern. So we have to look for the inspection part. First we have to look at the swelling. Now the very important thing is, since this is an area where the hair follicles are too much, So the commonest thing that should come in our mind that it could be a sebaceous cyst. But if you see, the surface is absolutely clean. Yeah. So this is not a sebaceous cyst. Now the second problem, which is common in this area, is a lipoma. So it could be a fat accumulated swelling. But beware, you cannot take it because it could be a cavernous malformation also, which is hemangioma. It could be a liposarcoma also. So we need to evaluate these things, as Keshav has already told, that we need to go for certain basic routine radiological assessment, among which the first most important is skull X-ray. If you show me the X-ray, if you see the X-ray, this is the swelling, and the bony cortex is absolutely maintained. So first of all, this is not giving us any evidence of malignancy or penetration into the bony cortex. The second very important thing is, I have gone for ultrasound. Why I need to go for ultrasound? So that if there is any vascular malformation, this will be picked up and we can do a Doppler assessment, and in that very same setting we can plan. Because many of the times it happens, we get tempted with these swellings thinking about lipoma, and then we make an incision. The moment we make an incision, we see that and God blood vessels are there, and then the catastrophe may happen. So we need to be prepared. Now, very important characteristic of a lipoma is the fluctuation. Now, if you see this swelling is fluctuating. Yes, you will hold one end, you will stabilize one end, and with the another, yes, you will try to note the fluctuation. So fluctuation is positive in this patient. And now one more very important diagnosis which can be seen here is a hematocele. Yeah, a trauma, a recent onset of trauma, a recent history of trauma is very important. So patient is not having any history of trauma, but whenever you approach such patients, it's mandatory that you take history of a trauma. Again, there is one more thing. It could be there could be a pyogenes collection below, because this patient might have maybe a tubercular infection, because in India tuberculosis is common. It's not rare. So it could be a collar state abscess also, where the bony cortex will be eroded. But if you see the bony cortex is absolutely normal. Neither patient has denied, neither patient has any family history of any such thing. So now we will show you how to approach this case as per surgery. So we will be performing a surgery, we will be excising the lipoma, and we will be showing you the steps of the surgery, and we will keep you updated about the things. So this is a new initiative where the students can come to my center, they can interact with me, I'll keep the cases, good cases arranged for them, and they can give me the case, real life case presentation. So let us initiate this pattern of study, where not only this student, he is doing it for you all, so that we can all get enhancement as far as the clinical approach to the subject is concerned. Okay, thank you. अब बेटा इसकी सर्जरी के लिए प्लान करो फटाफट। बहुत बढ़िया।